No, EBW didn't interfere and try to delay this interview or cut our Wi-Fi out. No, we didn't have problems when it came to maybe the foundation trying to figure out how to maybe delay the interview or maybe change what we should be talking about. It's all going to work out because there's always a plan. And we've got a plan because not only do we have the first real wrestler, not only of XCW in this sport, but also the man who arguably right now is as tall as a glass of water and very well might have the best RKO in this sport, aside from the guy that actually does the move himself. But we're going to talk about all things related to what we saw in the main event of Encounters. Obviously, the guys were victorious. They're going to tell us how, but also tell us about what's the next challenge ahead for them in EBW. Plus, I'm going to have a few announcements related to XCW and also open up a package maybe and maybe even give the guys something that they're going to be awarded for that very well could commemorate all the great things that they have done, especially on this date. Maybe a spoiler alert, maybe not, I don't know. But ladies and gentlemen, our guest, the longest running current champions in XCW, are no strangers to this platform. They are champions. They need to get that championship like introduction. So let's forget about all the semantics and get right back to it here on Sportswire Radio, where all wrestling matters, because these two guys have been the definition of it throughout the first half of 2024 and the last part of 2023. So we've heard enough of me. We're delayed by nearly 20 minutes, so let's get it over with and hear what everybody wants on Sportswire Radio. So with that, wait for it, further ado here on the Sports Report. Number one. The World Cup late won that one for you. Sports Show. The reigning, defending XCW Tag Team Champions. The longest current running champions in XCW. They call themselves the real ones. The Essential Rob Slater, and the first person from XCW into the Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame. The man who makes Mulholland Drive proud. His name is the first real wrestler, Justin Parsley. The champs are here. Guys, congratulations.
Thank you for that introduction. Bravo. Bravo.
Well, you know, obviously, we apologize for the delay on Sportswire Radio. It was kind of funny. We were kind of airing some of our grievances here. We won't go into some of those grievances here on Sportswire Radio, but you would not know that we had any of that. You would not know that we had several technical difficulties on both of our ends. But that's okay. That's the beauty of technology. Maybe not so much the beauty of technology, but gentlemen, it is always good to see you here. Where certainly all wrestling matters. And boy, you know, you guys have had a special run these past 5+ months or so. We're closing in on just about 6 months now as the XCW Tag Team Champions. And I think, and especially the audience that got a chance to see Encounters in XCW, this was your toughest shot to date in terms of retaining those titles. It was definitely your toughest match, but you guys came out like flying colors. So for those that are listening and watching on Sportswire Radio, the Essential Rob Slater and the first real wrestler, Justin Parsley, tell us how the XCW Foundation retained those tag team championships over, some would say, the foundation of this sport that we all love called wrestling in Omen Black and Soldier GP.
Well, Tom, as you saw in the first match with Foundation, we kind of underestimated them. Didn't give them enough credit.
Miscalculated.
So, what'd they do? They brought the fight to us, right? Beat us down. We pulled a page out of their playbook and we brought the fight to them. We weren't messing around this time.
No, I think anything goes. The tornado tag. I think it was incredible stipulations, and it was a crazy match. It was by far the toughest match that we've had to date, right? I mean, absolutely.
That's what
right?
I said. Listen, I mean, we've been covering you guys since this run started, where Rob was looking for a partner. You came out there, Justin, and I think that by far the reputation that Omen and Soldier have, I mean, speaks volumes. And no disrespect to many of the opponents that you have. Obviously, big love to DJ Wahlberg, Julian Void Jacobs. Big love to all the teams that you faced off here. But I think fans of Sportswire and fans of this sport, there is no team right now currently like Omen Black and Soldier GP.
Yeah, I think the FCW Galaxy knows it too. I think you can tell by the reaction at the end of the match and throughout the match. They were wild. I mean, it was the
oh my god,
wild.
Oh my goodness,
we're going to talk crazy about for it.
I watched it 2.5 times actually. I got to tell you, the first time you're going to chuckle. I actually ran to get home, and I got there literally in time. And I'm watching JJ and Trinity kind of talk about the package and get into the match. And then I watch it in real time. I message you, Justin. Then I watch it a second time. Then I watch it half a time. I'm like, okay, I got the point now. But the point was, I was so excited for this match, and I enjoyed it so much. Not only did I watch it in real time, I watched it right afterwards, and then watched it again, at least about half through the way through the match, to kind of said, all right, you know what? Now I've got an idea conceptually. I don't always get a chance to do that on Sportswire. Sometimes I watch a match, and if I'm lucky, I watch it twice. But in this case, I got to really sit down live and watch it, and then watch it a couple of other times. And I think that this was the test, and I think the Galaxy kind of responded in seeing what Soldier and Omen have had to offer outside of our little scene here in XCW. And I think that what you guys had, and maybe you guys, is it fair to say, learned from the first time and Encounters episode 1 to kind of where we got to tonight, where you guys were able to retain those championships and prove why you guys have stood the test of time and been the foundation of XCW.
Oh, definitely. Since that first match, I mean, I know on my calendar, I had this date circled. And I knew in order to get here, to get that rematch with Foundation, we had to withstand the test of other teams along the way. We had to slowly, build up the tension that we released on Foundation.
Yeah, I mean, everything we did wrong in that first match, we had to do everything right in the following matches and continue doing it right.
I mean, absolutely.
Up until we met up with the Foundation again, because they're big boys. They make them different in Iowa.
I've known them for about a year. I've seen them, and ROEW. I've certainly seen what they've done to WCE. I mean, that's certainly, I'm not even going to get into that. But everywhere they go, they
definitely leave their mark.
Listen, Anthony Steele, a man that used to be in this company, spoke about them on the show last week, and we're not going to go there because I'm sure that, those in the locker room have their opinions, which is fine. Obviously the guys in WC I mentioned, certainly DKW, all the many promotions that we cover here on Sportswire, they've seen firsthand. And even Jackson, Jackson, of course, who's our briefcase holder here in XCW, he's dealt with it in other promotions in terms of what Omen and Soldier bring to the table. But, I think, guys, it shows that this championship run that you have had is no fluke. This run is now, or I think, in my opinion, is now one of the all-time great runs, not only in XCW, in this sport, because it's been time and time again shown that you guys have been able to rise to the occasion. There was an old line that Rudy Tomjanovich, who was the head coach of the Houston Rockets, he used to say, and I think this kind of explains why you guys have been able to hang on to these championships for almost 6 months now. It is to don't ever underestimate the heart of a champion. And you guys have shown time and time again that you have that heart of a champion. And even though you guys were major underdogs here, Justin was here on Sportswire this Sunday when, of course, Trinity, our ring announcer, was inducted into our Hall of Fame. And, I don't know if people outside of the Galaxy gave you guys a shot, but I think it goes to what Coach T had said after he had won his second consecutive championship back in 1995. He said, don't ever underestimate the heart of a champion. And you guys have a heart I don't think anybody has right now currently of any tag team in this sport. And that's why maybe you guys were able to dig a little deeper and defeat especially the likes of Omen Black and Soldier GP.
I mean, that's kind of what we wanted. We wanted people to doubt us. That was just adding fuel to the fire. More for us to prove essentially. Yeah. We dedicated this title run to Benji.
And we're going to get to that. We're going to have an announcement toward that in a little while for sure. I'm going to definitely have an announcement for that.
Any potential loss could bring disgrace to his name. That title run would have meant nothing. The longer we go, the more honor and prestige it brings to him and brings back to the tag division. Because in my mind right now, the tag division, if you look, that's main event status.
Yeah, I agree with that. It's funny you said that. I was speaking before I come back to Justin. I was speaking with a wrestler, an unnamed wrestler, not in the XCW or IMF locker room, and we were talking about tag team wrestling. And I think that tag team wrestling, if any company, if you have the teams that you have in XCW, that's where you really cut your teeth. That's really where you make your mark, and that's where you show that you are a main event and you are worthy to be where you are. And I think that you hit the nail right on the head because tag team wrestling in the main event speaks volumes to the guys who are in that team. And you guys, time and time again here, especially with encounters and even throughout this magical run, again, it's really been the foundation of XCW you guys have been. It's a lot to think about, I know, because now we're looking at this run and you guys just beat the team that everybody, looks at them and says, okay, we can't stand up to them. We can't do this with them. We can't do that. And they were on here and, they didn't seem like they took you guys, not to say they didn't take you serious, but I'm sure they were very confident going into this match because their track record speaks volumes.
Oh, definitely. Definitely. I mean, the first match that we had, they beat us down. They whooped us. They put our egos in check. And we knew going into this match that if we were going to lose, we were going to go down swinging and we were going to go down fighting.
Yeah, so we laid it all on the line, right? Bodies flying off top ropes. I mean, you think what can you use to take Omen Black down with? That was my mentality going into that match, and I thought my entire weight.
I'm not a high flyer, and you saw me get on that.
Oh, we were talking about this. We were talking about this off the air. And I was like, Rob, is that the farthest you've jumped in your career, at least in recent memory? Because I was looking, Justin, all right, we've seen Justin have his spots. Justin obviously has his reels. He's the first real wrestler, obviously. He and I, he shares his reels on my Instagram. I'm certainly always, Justin, whatever you want. Same for you, Rob. And, people love it. We know that you can do that stuff. But, Rob, like I said, I don't know if you've flown that far, maybe other than being on an airplane.
I mean, my head pretty much touched the ceiling when I jumped.
You are as tall as a glass of water, Rob. You are that.
Yeah, and I get taller and taller each show. You
might be one of the few people that's actually still growing. People usually stop at a certain point, but you might actually still be growing.
Yeah. It's like, what is it, the Benjamin Button disease or whatever, where he starts out old and then grows young? Well, it's reversed. I started out tall, and I just keep going taller and taller and taller.
All right. Well, you know what? Let me ask you guys this question. I know a lot of people want to tune in about 15 minutes. I'm actually going to open up a package that I received from somebody, so we'll do that as well. And I know people want to talk to you guys. Obviously, the new IMF Tag Team Champions, Dark Crime, wants to say something to you guys. I'm going to bring him in a minute. But now, watching the match, and there was certainly a different style from the first match. Let me ask you guys this question. Was it tactical on your part to maybe bring the offense to the outside of the ring with Omen and Soldier? Because if you notice this match, you guys, right from the bell, were at each other. It was no waiting. You guys usually kind of have a certain methodical type of style. Either, Justin works the match for a certain time, Rob comes in and finishes. But in this particular match, it was right from the bell. It was almost like, a boxing match. But then also there was far more, I would say, outside the ring offense than there was inside. Did that maybe play into the strategy to kind of come away with these titles? And also maybe by doing that, you kind of wore Omen and Soldier down, because Omen and Soldier really aren't used to somebody taking it to them in the way you guys did, either from an high flying aspect of it, but also from an outside aspect. Talk to me about some of those things.
Well, I mean, absolutely, it played a part in it. Like you stated, our comfort zone is in the ring.
Yep.
Omen and Soldier's comfort zone is them bringing the fight to everybody else and in the ring. So we're not used to being out of the ring. They're not either. We wanted them and us to be out of our comfort zone, because then anything goes.
Yeah, I mean, with that tornado tag rule too, so we didn't have to worry about tagging in. You're right. We do have a plan. We're always pretty methodical when we go out there, discussing it all the way up until we're getting ready to head out the curtain. And if you watch the camera, you can see whenever Rob and I turn around and we're getting ready to do our normal entrance, and I'm like, "Are you ready?"
Let's go.
I noticed that. Yes, it's funny. I looked at you guys
there.
when you nodded to each other. I was like, okay, this match, like every spot in the match, you better just pay attention, because this one's a little different. This one felt like, in a way, it's crazy I'm saying this, this did feel like a Super Bowl almost. This felt like such a big match. Maybe it's because it's been promoted a lot on Sportswire the past 2 months. We were waiting 2 months for this match. It's about, just give or take, about 2 months. And we've obviously heard a lot. You've been on a couple of times since then, Justin, and obviously Omen and Soldier. It is Omen's show after all. And we've heard a lot of back and forth, and it was really more one-sided from their end, that they were going to basically come away with these belts. But tonight seemed like a completely different real ones, just to me.
Yeah, in the like I said, the first match they beat us down. They even had their manager get involved, and this match, you saw what happened when their manager got involved, right?
Oh, it backfired. He used the chair, and he was going
exactly
for you, and it went to a Soldier. Soldier got hit with the chair, and Soldier never recovered really from that moment. He never. Nope, he tried to break the count up, but it just wasn't there.
And manager never recovered either. Got hit with that RKO.
Nope. You RKO'd him, and that was it pretty much. And it was like, they were kind of dazed and confused. And, I mean, in a match like this, you had certain spots. And do you almost, in a way, kind of say, this is how it was going to be in order to win? Or it was kind of just, we let everything hang out there, more or less?
Well, I mean, we, like Justin stated, we planned some stuff. The ending of the match, we assumed that after that kind of a beating, Omen would just go down. Well, we were wrong on that, so we had to right away. He will not go down. He's a fighter.
Blackheart even said during in commentary, like, what does it take to get Omen Black to stay down? And, despite all the blood, we've seen Omen bleed so many times on Sportswire, but, the blood and, the punishment you guys put him through, he still kept coming.
It took a double super kick from us, and then a double pinfall.
Yep.
Like
I think Rob Slater's first ever on screen super kick too.
No, that was on Soldier.
Okay, my bad.
I kind of threw you into that first.
Insecurity, Justin. You had the spot outside where you jumped from, I guess, the gym, kind of the gym chairs, not the chairs, but the gym seats and the benches over there, the bleachers, and then you kind of hit that DDT onto the chair of Soldier. And then you had another spot in the match where obviously you jumped also onto Omen. Omen had bled, I think, right around that time. So there was a lot of high spots in that match, some would want to say, that maybe in a way, like I said, wore them down. Because again, Omen and Soldier, they're not used to this. And, maybe you guys wore them down throughout the match.
We actually did our homework this time. We studied them. We studied them some more. And we kept up on our endurance. We knew, hey, we're coming out swinging. We're going to give it our all. Sure, we'll be out of energy, out of stamina. But no matter how hard they work, we're going to work harder.
You guys spoke about Benji, and we know that this run has been special. We know the relationship that you guys have had. Let me ask you this question. Well, and, I'm going to have an announcement for Benji in a little while. So we're going to have an announcement here for sure. But when it comes to everything that was mentioned before did you guys have personal pressure, or maybe conversely the other way, motivation, that you didn't want to end this magical championship run the way it looked like it could have been at episode 1, because of everything you've done in terms of for Benji that's kind of, aligned you guys? Talk to me about your thoughts on that.
I don't think we ever want to lose these titles in
Well,
this championship run. I mean, yeah, I mean, obviously, that comes with the heart of a
but
champion,
there's a
but
special situation with you guys, the bond, and obviously with Benji. It's different when somebody else wins or loses a championship. But you guys, there's a lot of emotions here. There's also something where you guys do have a long-standing relationship together. This is, to me, different.
yeah, absolutely. I mean, you've seen it throughout the storylines of the EBW championship. We have a lot of world titles. Corey Lee saying that the international title
Yep.
was a world title at one point. I even feel like
The
these
measuring
tag team
stick
titles
title,
have
yep.
become, hey, yeah, they become their own kind of world championships, and they mean even more because of Benji being attached.
Well, look at
to them.
the
Benji being
listen.
first champion.
Look at who you faced. I mean, Brady Branson, Tommy Merriman. I mean, Tommy the Man Merriman. I mean, you
Yeah.
guys. Julian Voigt Jacobs is a former world champion. DJ Walbert's had phenomenal success in XCW. I mean, he's had even more success outside of XCW now. I mean, DJ Walbert is like a haunted minds paranormal, celebrity now. I mean, he's
Yeah.
got like more. He might have more followers right now than any of us combined. I mean, he is a big deal outside of XCW. Point is that you guys have had a run where you guys have been lined up against champion after champion, star after star after star, and you guys have stood the test of time. And I think that certainly deserves a lot of recognition.
I think that's how we've proven that we belong here. With all the time away from the game that we took, for our own reasons, I think that this title run proves it.
Oh, for sure. And I think that it proves that
winning the titles, winning the titles back in September, and then in what, 5 months time, going into the XCW Hall of Fame just based on that title run, and of course, past accolades or whatever. But I think this title run played a major part in that.
Yeah, and none of this was planned, right? It all just kind of fell into place the way it was meant to be. I don't think that I wanted to hold any tag gold. I don't think Rob Slater saw himself coming back for any tag gold. But with the circumstances being the way they were, and finding out Benji and the history with Benji and the tag team titles, it all made sense. It all fell into place, and fate would have it. Here we sit talking to you, XCW Tag Team Champions.
Wow, I've got something for you guys in about 10 or 15 minutes. I want to give you guys, in addition to this magical run, but I want to say hello to a number of people here. I want to say hello to my buddy, Mr. Michael Christian. Michael, of course, is rocking that Sportswire radio shirt somebody gave him here. Michael says, we want Parsley. Well, you got Parsley and Slater. What's up, Justin and Rob? Absolutely awesome to see you all again. Real Ones hoodie coming soon. Love that. Love that. Love seeing Rob Slater. Rob certainly is tall as a glass of water. Which actually, Rob, I'm actually about the same height as you, so I shouldn't be talking, because I should be tall as a glass of water. I might be. I'm 6 foot, 6 footish, like 6 foot and a half.
I got about
1 inch.
87 more feet on you then.
Yeah, I suppose. I mean, yeah, I suppose. And people who say
6'2" in real life.
I guess I would be. Well, since you're tall as a glass of water, I might be as tall as like an Aquanet, because I guess I've got the longer hair than you. So maybe like hairspray. I'm as tall as a bottle of hair.
He looks 6'4". He's 6'2". He looks 6'4". So
I know. When I heard you were 6'2", I'm like, I'm like right behind you, Rob, and so I'm like, I can't really say that I'm not that tall, but short either, because I'm actually just about your height. So that's here nor there. Justin is a damn good ref. I'm going to get to that for sure, because obviously you ref the match that certainly we might have remembered at one point, right? Because somebody else is coming on here next week to take their place in the Hall of Fame, which you were a part of. Rob, was always awesome to meet you at Cold Day. Great family. Amen. Always love having Rob here. Want to say hello to the man that is one half of the now IMF Tag Team Champions, Mr. Darkron himself. And he says, you guys got lucky against our Foundation brothers. He also wants to point out that they are the new IMF Tag Team Champions. They could be described as the Hardy Boys of the Foundation. The match they did have, to be honest, at King of the Center was extremely impressive, and they do deserve.
Can I just interject just real quick?
You can say anything you want. You're a Hall of Famer, Justin.
The Foundation, why are they not the current IMF Tag Team Champions? I mean, if they are the foundation of this sport and hashtag all wrestling matters, why are they running around trying to take gold in other states when they can't even lock it down on their own?
Well,
you're probably not the right person to ask, but just I'm putting it out there.
To be fair, to Omen and Soldier, they haven't been chasing the tag team championships. Now, Omen just lost the hardcore championship. If you're talking about that, he had lost it to Damian Saint, and it was certainly what was not. I would say Damian Saint might have got a lot more lucky than you guys did, because Damian Saint had kind of did some tactics before at the prior show that really were a lot more underhanded. You guys were always fair, and you guys do it the honest way, and I think that's why you guys are real ones. That's why you guys are the foundation of XCW. But Soldier's the IMF World Champion, but he had certainly his hands full with a man we all know well, and Tommy the Man Merriman. So listen, those guys, they have been doing a great job out there, and I have best to answer your question. And certainly Darkron, his brother Matthew Forsaken, say that they're the best tag team in this business. Well, I got the team right now. It's got the longest run, as far as I know, the longest runs of anybody in any sport I know, in any company. Of our great sport, right? I'm trying to think of tag team champions that I've covered. Ego lost the titles. It's the Heretics. They've been champions not as long as you guys. They're very few. I'm trying to think of some of the other companies I do work with, even in overseas in the UK. They haven't been champions as long as you guys. I'm thinking about it. Of all the companies that we work with on Sportswire, you guys might be the longest running tag team champions. Now I'm thinking about it. If I'm really thinking about all the wrestling companies, whether it's overseas, whether it's through, I guess, the Yard, the Underground, the Semi-Pro, the Independent. I don't even know what the labels are at this point. I just say all wrestling matters. But my point is that you guys might actually have the longest run as any tag team champion that we cover in Sportswire. And it's saying a lot, I think.
173 days and counting, Tom.
Almost 6 months. That's, for my math, again, I'm not good at many things. That's almost 6 months. That speaks volumes. Want to say hello to my buddy, Mr. James Taylor, of course, of the Nemesis Sessions. He is in our Hall of Fame as well, and Mr. Taylor has a show, and I would love to see these guys on here one day. He's got 105,000 followers, and James Taylor's most recent TikTok has 100,000 likes or something like that. Now, he posted something with Stone Cold Steve Austin, and it literally broke TikTok. I kid you not, he literally broke TikTok. He's at Taft Taylor on TikTok, Taft_Taylor on Instagram and YouTube, and you can find out more. I love their heart and grit, but you still have nothing on certainly Forsaken and Crime, Darkron and Matthew Forsaken. What do you say to that before?
What did you say earlier, Tom? Going back to what you said earlier. Never underestimate the heart of a champion.
The word exactly was from Rudy Tomjanovich, and his exact words were, "Don't ever underestimate the heart of a champion." That was exactly his line.
Well, that's our reply to that comment.
And he's basically saying that he's better than his Foundation brothers, Omen and Soldier, right?
Well, Matthew Forsaken has been defeated multiple times by Omen Black, so I'm sure he would certainly maybe plead the fifth on that one, because he's obviously been in there with Omen, and he knows Omen maybe more than anybody.
Before he comes at us, he might want to go to his Foundation brothers and get some advice.
On who he's messing with.
All right, well, I have a lot of comments here. I have a lot of comments, but I promised I would do something, since we are live on Sportswire right now. I received this package, gentlemen. I want to put this down. Here's my package that I've received. I received a package. No, I don't think it's anthrax. Years ago after September 11th, there was a whole thing about anthrax in the post office and being in New York. Yeah, no, I promise you, no, I'm not going to get canceled off the air. We have this package.
You have a big package, Tom.
Is it ticking?
You have a big package.
Is it ticking?
Now, if I do blow up, it's probably because of things I said off the air. I said on Sportswire.
Okay.
Maybe it's things I've said on the air on Sportswire the past few months. Heshy, listen. Heshy who at this point? Heshy.
Damn.
Well, no, I love Heshy's great.
No, I know.
No, I was actually Wednesday nights I was co-hosting a show with the gentleman Heshy Tischler, a well-known man in the Orthodox Jewish world of Brooklyn politics, but Sportswire is bigger than his show. He doesn't have a tenth of the views we have, and he has to pay for his listeners on the radio. So that's a different topic for a different time. That's a real shoot. Oh boy, that's a real shoot. But we do have a package here, which I would like to open. Only if you guys insist. Now, if I do get blown up, Justin and Rob, you could actually take over Sportswire Radio. So you know what? There's talks about ROEW for sale and who should buy that. But if I get blown up here with this package, I'm going to actually say in my will, it's going to officially go to Justin Parsley and Rob Slater. You guys can have Sportswire. Right. So,
did you hear that, Omen? Did you hear that, Omen Black? This could be our show. I don't want anything to happen to Tom, but if it does,
I think there's a lot of people out there. I'm sure Heshi included probably would want something to happen to me. And other people, I'm sure that are watching this probably would love to see that. Maybe people I've shot on, maybe people off the air I've said a few things about. But I digress. I think I should open this package because at this point the suspense is building. People are going to be like, "What exactly is it?" So I'm going to open it, and if I don't live after it, was a great life. Justin, Rob, it's been an honor. Getting to know you guys. XCW, thank you for you're working with the company the past 7 or 8, 9 months, and to everybody that's tuning in on Sportswire, it's been fun, and it'll be a real one when the guys take over.
Hope that doesn't happen, but if it does, we'll see you in the afterlife.
You know what? I'm looking forward to it because hopefully the afterlife it's a lot longer than this one. But okay, I digress. I'm going to open this package.
Did you send it?
No,
you said you were going to send me something.
Yeah.
A bag here. There's definitely something.
Bag?
I got a bag here first, but
Okay.
another bag here.
Okay.
Like a bunch of explosives here, or what?
Very New Yorky.
Well, let me see. Is there a clock here? It looks like it could be a bomb. No, it doesn't look like it could be a bomb.
It looks like it. Yeah, it looks like it.
But I guess I'm going to open it here, and it doesn't feel like it's a bomb so far.
That's really where the anthrax is now.
Can I stop opening? I don't think it's a Big Mac, right? It looks. Wait a minute! It's a shirt, and it's a James Taylor shirt. The Nemesis James Taylor. Whoa! The Nemesis James Taylor. Ladies and gentlemen,
Let's go.
Wild. The Nemesis James Taylor gave me a shirt from a package. It looked like it could have been a bomb, and no, it wasn't a bomb. It was more like a shoot bomb with James Taylor's promos on Sportswire and elsewhere, because he gave us the bomb diggity bomb of a shirt that says the Nemesis James Taylor, and it's here since 1999. I thought it was 98. I keep saying 98, but we got it here, and I gotta say, it's a real one of a shirt. It's real. It's a real one.
Oh, hell yeah. I love it.
And it's an essential part of my wardrobe starting tomorrow.
I would drink to that.
It'll be a foundation permanently of my wardrobe for the years to come. As a matter of fact, I think I'm going to wear this to when I go to a wedding coming up in about 2 months.
Well, the women will flock to you over that.
Well, when I show my bank account, they'll probably say, yeah, you could dress up in a wrestling shirt. But no, I'm only kidding. But wow. So this is it, ladies and gentlemen. Nope, I'm not being blown up. It's a blow up of a package. And the bomb itself was the James Taylor new shirt. And James Taylor, you are awesome. Thank you very much. So there you have it. So that was pretty cool. So what'd you think? So it was all right. You like the shirt?
I'm relieved that it wasn't anthrax or a bomb, and I think the shirt is dope. Yeah.
All right, fair enough. All right, let's get to comments here before I talk to more business back in the world of XCW. I think Michael's son is saying hi to you on TV, and we say hi to Michael's son as well. So, and actually, I'm going to answer. Speaking of the man that just gave me a shirt and a plug before that, you guys are going to be in the ring next Thursday at Take Over the World against EBW's James Cerebral and Brady Branson, who before ACT was the last XCW champion of the world, and on top of that won the most awards at the year-end ceremony that we had in 2023, which saw you, Justin Parsley, get inducted into the XCW Hall of Fame. Those are going to be your next opponents, which we're going to talk about here coming up. Yep.
This one too.
Yep.
Both of us inducted. We were doing
congrats to Brady for winning Superstar of the Year. I mean,
for all the awards, but it just make it that much sweeter when we finish shoulders on the man at once.
And this time it's even face to face, no attacking from behind.
Ooh, I want to say hello to of course, our buddy Jack Delta, of course. Jack Delta, another XCW. I love Jack Delta, of course. Jack Delta, one of my favorites on Sportswire. We had Jack Delta Day, and there might be a cheap plug about you guys coming up here. And by the way, I'm doing some commentary coming up this Sunday with James Taylor. We're actually calling a match with somebody that used to work in XCW. I'm going to say his name, Anthony Steele. I mean, I'm sure that's a real spoiler alert. Yep. I'm sure somebody's listening out there and go, oh, no, you can't mention his name. But yes, we're going to call the match. One day I got to go sit here live and stream a match calling Rob Slater and Justin Parsley.
That foundation match from episode 11 of season 1 of Encounters, that could be a lot of fun to watch you call that.
I would do it tonight, but I don't know if you guys have the time. But that's certainly here nor there. I'll come back to that maybe. It's not a long match. Look, we know who great is, and we have our eye on them. Okay, we want to fight the best, and obviously you guys are going to be in the ring next Thursday.
Get in line. Get in line.
The long line,
Everybody.
a long line. Want to say hello to my buddy Ethan Sorensen. How you guys doing today? I'm great. I mean, I'm feeling great. I'm live on Sportswire Radio. I didn't blow up, and the package wasn't anthrax. It wasn't a bomb. It wasn't dynamite. I mean, it was actually a dynamite of a shirt that is an essential to my wardrobe. That's certainly going to be a foundation for years to come in it. That is the James Taylor Nemesis shirt, and it's a real one too, by the way. Say that all in a nutshell. That's the video about Stone Cold at WrestleMania 40. Okay, yes, thank you for that. We'll come back to Ethan on his greatest hits. There's one more thing in that bag, and it's not a bomb. We're a few minutes behind. Why not have me at Encounters? Well, I don't know. That's a good question. I mean, that's a good question. Why wasn't I at Encounters? I don't know. But can I go back in time like Marty McFly did in Back to the Future? Maybe I could go back in time, and we could always watch it live on Sportswire because we have that capabilities here. Craven Rage, who is last night's guest, and he wants to congratulate you guys. Thank you, Craven, for tuning in. Obviously, Craven, it was always good to be with you on Sportswire Radio. And, speaking of giving, right, gentlemen, you guys have been really successful, and it's been a magical run this past 6 months. Before we come back to current events, would it be okay, only if you insist? Now, I promise you I won't have dynamite. I promise you I won't have anthrax. I promise you I won't have anything that'll cause you guys to blow up. But I was wondering that if I could present you guys something for the audience to kind of maybe celebrate what you guys have done here over these past near 6 months, only if you insist, by the way.
I insist. Do you insist?
Yeah.
We
please.
insist.
Okay, well, you know what? And what James Taylor wanted me to open something else. Oh, I'll have come back to that because I do realize there's something else in there. But I want to present you guys something, actually. For a change, let me see if I have it right here. Here we go. It looks like now we got wrong tech. That's wrong crack staff there. I got it right here. There we go. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I think we're going to finally pull it up on the screen, and you're about to get it. Here it is. On this date, February 29th, 2024, for all that you guys have done, we want it to be the Real Ones Day. On all of our Sportswire Radio platforms, including YouTube at Sportswire Radio 6579, Twitch at Sportswire Radio, Twitter at Thomas Price 2017, Facebook at Sportswire Radio, SportswireRadio.org, Instagram at The Sports Report 2021. Also, Twitter at Thomas Price 2017, my personal Facebook page, Tumblr as well at Sportswire Radio. Guys, for all that you've done to being a part of All Wrestling Matters, all for what you have done here in representing XCW in this magical run, getting into the XCW Hall of Fame. Justin, you being in our Hall of Fame, we wanted to make it a little special here and acknowledge the both of you guys by making it a real one of a day on all of our platforms, and especially after one of the best matches I've seen in 2024 that you guys just had with Omen and Soldier, and congratulations.
Thank you very much. That's awesome. That's an honor.
Does this mean we're the first team to go in?
This is just a day right here.
Well, I was going to get
February 29th.
I got you.
So this is
Rob,
the Real Ones Day.
Rob, but you stole
every 4 years we get to celebrate this day. Once every 4 years.
We could do that, but I was thinking we could do that, Rob. But apparently somebody must be reading my notes on Sportswire Radio. Somebody's reading the notes because. You mentioned something, right, about tag teams, right? Tag teams going into the Hall of Fame. And, I was wondering, now, obviously, some might think that hundreds of people have gone into the Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame. But I got news for you, buddy. I'm the one that picks, and I put people in the Hall of Fame because I want to put them in the Hall of Fame. So if you don't like it or you do like it, spoiler alert, pipe bomb there for you. You can go make another Hall of Fame, and you can decide who you might want to put in. But it's my platform here. I mean, that could be anybody. I'm just saying who that was, that individual that said there's hundreds of people in the Hall of Fame. Well, you know what? Dean Allmark's in my Hall of Fame. R.P. Davis is in my Hall of Fame. Luke Leyland's in my Hall of Fame. And you might even be in the Hall of Fame. So you might want to reevaluate some of those things that you might want to say. But enough about that, because that individual clearly way stepped out of his lane. He does not want to go down that road. Trust me, because I'll throw a lot of pipe bombs on him. He doesn't want any of that. But I do want to actually throw it out there, gentlemen, that what would you say for those that are listening and watching on Sportswire Radio, where all wrestling matters, despite what some might say, in many people or hundreds of people, whatever the term might be, that you guys, for what you've done here for nearly 6 months as the reigning defending XCW Tag Team Champions and one of the longest running champions currently in our sport, would like to go into the Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame sometime in the month of April. Together.
That would make you a two-time?
Two-time, yep. I mean, listen, Omen on Monday is a two-time Hall of Famer. Why not Justin Parsley, a two-time Hall of Famer? You got to win over Omen.
That only makes sense. I'm with you. I like the logic.
I mean, let's do the
I think it'd be an honor.
Let's do the Steiner math. I mean, if we do this,
Famer and me a two-time?
You could be a two-time Hall of Famer. Justin's a three-time Hall of Famer. I mean, why not? I mean, you guys got wins over Omen. Omen's going to be a two-time Hall of Famer on Monday with the House of Wolves.
I think it'd be an honor again.
Yeah. Honor.
I mean, I think we, as a matter of fact, I think we make that happen right after WrestleMania. The week after WrestleMania, I think we start that. I think we do it the next day. I'm going to go drop one here live on Sportswire Radio. We're going to do that April the 8th.
Hell yeah. We're there.
April 8th. Mark your calendar for those that are listening and watching on Sportswire Radio. The real ones go into the Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame. There you go. There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. That's how we do it on Sportswire. And I will come back to it. Michael Christian says, in a sports wire, anyone looks like the bomb. Well, the shirt he means. And also, I will read off, before I come back to that, what Mr. Taylor had to say. He gave me a nice email, actually, by the way. Let's read the email.
Oh, that's nice.
Dear Tom Bryce, you can call me Tom, by the way. I thought you knew me, James Taylor, by now. I hope this letter finds you well. I wanted to take a moment to express my deepest gratitude for your unwavering support and belief in me. Unlike maybe that gentleman that said there was, hundreds of people in the Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame. Maybe he should actually give me a nice little letter with warm regards. But, that's his prerogative. Your encouragement and dedication as the host of Sportswire Radio have truly meant the world to me, especially in my journey in professional wrestling and backyard wrestling. Might want to take note to that person, by the way, that said, hundreds of people in the Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame, especially when we said that XCW was the gold standard. But just saying, though, your passion for the sport shines through in every broadcast, and it's clear that your love for wrestling runs deep. As a matter of fact, it's in my blood. Your support has not only boosted my confidence, but has also inspired me to push myself through further in pursuit of my dreams. Well, that's what it's all about. I'm incredibly grateful for the platform you've provided, allowing me to share my story and showcase my talent. Your belief in me has been a driving force behind my success, and I cannot thank you enough for your ongoing support. Please know that your efforts have not gone unnoticed and are deeply appreciated. I am honored to have your support and will continue to work hard to make you proud. Take a note, by the way, to the person that said that there were like hundreds of people in the Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame. And take note that Sportswire helped your company grow to hundreds of subs since you started working with this company. Just want to let you know that. Thank you once again for everything. Tom, I look forward to the opportunity to continue working together and making a positive impact in the world of wrestling. And that's what it's all about. Warm regards, the nemesis, James Taylor. Ladies and gentlemen, that's how you do it, ladies and gentlemen. That's what it's all about. Connecting people from all backgrounds, all walks of life. That's what we do here on Sportswire Radio. So I want to make that clear for the world. So there you have it. James Taylor, can't wait for you to be back on Sunday on Sportswire Radio to call a match. I want to say hello to my buddy, Mr. Big Tex, who was Breakout Star of the Year in DBW. I want to say hello to our first woman and only woman so far in the Hall of Fame, Trinity Parker. Trinity Parker, one of my all-time favorites on Sportswire. Trinity Parker should be here anytime she wants. She did a phenomenal job, and she's the reason we got some little last-minute promotion on the fight that you guys had with the foundation. Big ups to Trinity. Trinity knows how to certainly make a party, and certainly nobody knows how to promote it like Trinity. And Trinity's got some of the best pipes in the business, and she's kind of our XCW version of Rhea Ripley in China, and with a better voice. So big shout out to Trinity, by the way. Certainly want to make sure
I've never seen somebody run faster to get out of the ring. Then when we took the fight to the foundation, she skedaddled.
I loved when Trinity beat Fletch. That was one of my favorite moments. I hope it was one of maybe favorite moments. I mean, that was really impressive, by the way. But then again, everybody's beating Fletch these days, so that's not too big of a deal. But here nor there. True words, boss man. Yeah, 100. Congratulations, Justin Parsley, on your wrestling victory, and congratulations on being acknowledged by Sportswire Radio on this day. Absolutely, yep, it's a real one here. It's a real one here. But if you are on Sportswire Radio, I hope that you give us a plug on YouTube at Sportswire Radio 6570. We're on Twitter at Thomas Price 2017, and we are on Sportswire Radio. If you want to follow XCW, you have a number of different ways to do so. xcwrestling1.wixsite.com/Shelbyville, where yours truly has this Justin Parsley shirt on, and my Jack Delta shirt's right next to me, and my XCW shirt that's on the way, and so many other great shirts. You can get them through there. And if you want to watch XCW, which we call the gold standard of this sport, XCW Shelbyville, XC All Access, Instagram, XCW_Shelbyville, Twitter, XC Wrestling 1, Facebook, XCW Shelbyville. Follow XCW. XCW's got a huge show coming up, Take Over the World. We're going to talk about it here in a few minutes with the guys, because the guys are going to be a huge part of it. Plus, we're going to have next Sunday, on his birthday, nonetheless, a man that Justin Parsley actually refereed his last match is going into our Hall of Fame as our first referee on his birthday. I mean, nobody knows how to throw a party like Sportswire. Nobody knows on Sportswire how to recognize those. Nobody on Sportswire knows how to make sure all wrestling matters. Nobody like Sportswire goes out of their way to make sure people are recognized, even despite what some might say on Sportswire Radio. But the Festus Davis, happy birthday to you. I cannot wait to be with you once again next Sunday. I cannot wait to talk about all the great things. By the way, Festus Davis was the referee of the Real One's most recent victory that we just saw about 2 hours ago at Encounters over the Foundation's Omen Black and Soldier GP. Boy, everything in wrestling all kind of revolves. It's all kind of like a domino effect. Everything kind of just revolves there, and that's what we love here. Shout outs to everybody in XCW. Love XCW, and we can't wait for Festus Davis to take his place in the Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame. And can't wait for that interview. Yes, we're going to have you back on as well, and thank you for that big text, and he's also excited for Festus. It was a great match, and Justin got us the views. Thank you again. All wrestling matters. Absolutely, amen. And XCW is about that. XCW to me is, the gold standard, and we love XCW. We love all the companies on Sportswire Radio, but obviously we've moved on. We've had what we like to say, but gentlemen, let's talk about, though, after the match. You got the big win over the Foundations, Omen and Soldier. We thought it was over. We thought, obviously, you guys were going to be able to go to the back and maybe party as we speak, party like it's, 2023 all over again when you guys get into the Hall of Fame together and everything else continuing to you guys be the foundation of XCW. But then I see EBW's Brady Branson and James Cerebral come out, and, well, they kind of, in a real way, laid you guys out cold. And you might want to talk about what we're going to see in your opponents next week.
It's typical EBW fashion. They can't, be on even ground with anybody. They got attacked from behind like they always do with everybody. ACT, they've done it too. Brogan, they've done it too. Countless people in XCW, EBW, attacks from behind like cowards.
Yep.
You saw what happened the first time to Brady when you recruited Tommy. They lost, right?
Yep.
Couldn't beat us. So what do you have to do? He had to regroup. And then he had to go get the lackey of EBW.
The man that's been waving the EBW flag longer than it feels like EBW's been alive.
That's fair. That's fair. I mean, but lackeys can be loyalists too, right? So we retained the tag team championship, but I think the most important thing that we did was win the Foundation's respect, because they also did come down and save us from what could have been a much worse beating. Agreed? Like, that could have been awful.
I know that surprised me, though. You guys could have been, for all we know, you guys might have still been laying in the ring there at the same pose, Jim. We not be talking about you right now. We could maybe be talking to, James Cerebral and Brady Branson instead. But yet, Omen and Soldier came out and made the save. I mean, what did you guys make of that?
It surprised us also. If you notice, when the Foundation came down there, what did we do? We skedaddled. right to the corner, right? We were like, oh shit, like
I was already in the
happening?
corner and I saw him run.
And
He rushed
That's
over
like
to
when
me.
when I do a promo on Sportswire and I basically go for like 5 or 10 minutes on somebody. People just go, get out of the way, just get out of.
like, and then Soldier coming over there, offering his hand out, right? Offering that olive branch. We took it. He saved us. And what happened at the end? The XCW/IMF sponsorship proudly brings to you the Real Foundation.
Stood tall.
Stood
Hold each
tall
other's
with you
arms.
at the end.
I want to talk about that because that was a special moment in a way. Obviously, we're going to talk about Brady and James in a second. I know there's more comments here. We'll come back to them. But, that was in a way a big deal in the mutual respect. We love what the IMF has done, but to see that handshake, that almost endorsement in a way, maybe not a full endorsement, but seeing you guys shake hands, it really did show that the two foundations of this sport, the two best teams, in my opinion, Omen and Soldier, and you guys shaking hands, that's a moment I'm going to remember for a long time. And I think the XCW Galaxy is going to remember that for a long time. And I think fans of Sportswire Radio and our scene are going to remember that for a long time because that was pretty cool.
Two things were earned in that match, Tom. Mutual respect, and if memory serves me correctly, what happened if we won?
Oh yeah, that was announced as on Sportswire, right?
Two things were earned: mutual respect, and who gets a world title shot against Soldier?
That would be Justin Parsley.
And when he takes that belt, who's going to be his first challenger?
Bob Slater. I say I connect the dots. Everything connects the dots.
But I mean, yes, mutual respect was earned. They gave us our first loss as a team, as a tag team, 2-on-2.
Yes, because we had a mixed,
right?
Yeah, we had a mixed match, but
yeah,
we're counting that.
As a tag team, they gave us our first loss. We gave them their first loss. So what is that? 1-1?
The rubber match. The rubber match would have to decide who's the real foundation of the sport.
Maybe sometime in the future, we set up the trilogy.
Would that be at a neutral site, maybe?
I mean, they came to our home, right?
Yep.
They came to our home. They want to have that at their home. I mean, it's mutual respect, right? We should give it to them.
I would agree with that.
They want to have it on a neutral site. They want to have it at their next year's Wrestle Clash, Mania Clash, whatever.
So Summer Mania is you guys. They have Summer Bash. Summer Bash takes place.
Okay, Summer Bash. They want to have it at Summer Bash. A match like that, right? I feel like should be at a big time show, right?
I think there's no question that you guys have become the main event of XCW, and I think Omen and Soldier. Like, if we're gonna do a real one, shoot for a second. Anytime Omen and Soldier come on Sportswire, the views go up. Anytime Omen and Soldier come on, the word travels. People talk. When Omen and Soldier do something, you could like them or not, or respect them or not want to respect them. When they do something, you automatically pay attention. So if that's going to happen, I think it should be on a big stage in a big moment. And I think that it should be to decide who is the best, really. I think that's a very fair point. And I think that people that are fans of this sport and being a part of All Wrestling Matters, yeah, I think it should happen whenever it might be on the biggest stage of them all.
Well, that's something for Soldier and Omen to think about, and us discuss at a later point.
Right, and I know obviously they have a lot on their plate. Certainly, they've got to handle their own business in the IMF. Soldier's had his hands full with Tommy Merriman. Jay Ellis, we know Jay Ellis. He's apparently foundation these days. I mean, that was a big deal. I mean, Jay Ellis seemed like to me, he's a player again, and good to see that obviously, Jay Ellis is a part of things there, and Tommy Merriman, we saw Soldier had his hands full with them, and you guys have got James Cerebral and Brady Branson. I mean, you guys went through a lot with Omen and Soldier, but now you've got to regroup. I mean, how can you regroup in a short amount of time after everything and all the emotions you went through to keep these titles to now have to retain them against Brady Branson and James Cerebral?
I mean, the first outcome with Tommy and Brady, you saw how that ended in our favor. Who's to say this is going to be any different? Brady's just getting what, a new partner. He's just going to go through the entire EBW roster. Just they're trying to make their way to us. Like, what's going to happen when we go through them all? Is he going to go to Chris? Get Chris?
Maybe he'll find something that sticks, but so far it's not.
He can't find that partner to click with, right? He can't find that actual team chemistry like we have, and that chemistry is what gets you those wins.
And it's something you can't even teach. You don't teach that chemistry. This is something that whenever Rob and I met for the first time, it was sparked, it was there, and it's always been there, whether that's as opponents or as partners. There is a chemistry that we have that is unbreakable, and Cerebral and Brady Branson aren't the two to do it.
Not to deny their accolades. Like they've done some pretty impressive stuff in XCW. So
on their own,
we're not going to underestimate them. We're going to bring the fight to them, and we'll see where it goes from there.
You said something interesting, which I was going to bring up, in that Brady has been a phenomenal talent. He has been the world champion. He won the most awards. We spoke all about that. And he has been kind of the anchor, you might even say, of EBW. But how difficult is it to really, you kind of touched upon it, how difficult is it to kind of make that transition? Not everybody can be a singles guy to a tag guy. You guys have been, certainly in your own rights, have had decorated careers as singles guys, and now you've kind of had this new life where you've become the foundation of XCW. And how have you guys been able to do it, and why do you think that Brady Branson so far has struggled?
It's difficult because when you're on that singles run for a long time, you're just relying on yourself. You don't have to essentially watch your partner's back. Every time your partner goes to get pinned, that could be your opportunity to lose those titles. So now you gotta watch your partner's back, watch your back, and know when the perfect time to strike is. With Brady, I could see why it didn't work out with Tommy at first. They didn't have that chemistry. Tommy was just coming into EBW, and Brady has.
I still don't even know where Tommy Merriman is at EBW. I have no idea. Like, I don't know where he stands. I mean, it's kind of been like a bizarre situation.
They keep trying to recruit, right? If you notice, what happened at Cold Day? Who'd they try to recruit?
You guys.
They went to him, right? Went to him with an offer.
Yep.
Right.
The long history. Yep. Didn't work. Didn't work. And EBW's really struggled, I mean, the last few months. I mean, you guys had pressure going into this match because of what the foundation did to you guys, and maybe as a whole what outsiders have done to XCW. But I think the pressure might be more on Brady and James than we've ever seen before, because EBW has struggled. Chris Jones could not reclaim the world title from ACT. James Cerebral has struggled. I mean, we know, Brady Branson lost the title. Hayden Vex is a footnote. I mean, EBW, Miano Diaz, I mean, I guess he's kind of got the upper hand over Fletch, but we're not getting that match now. I mean, EBW has struggled mightily currently. I mean, their backs are against the wall, and that could work either to their advantage, or it could be maybe are we seeing finally the demise of EBW? I mean, just out loud from afar, what do you guys make of all that?
Well, we've been there. We've struggled, and that was with the foundation. But with that mix-up and correcting our mistakes along the way, I think that we've also fixed that to where you won't see that ever happen again. And nothing like that will ever happen again.
EBW, they could be coming after us because they want what we have. They know that they're on their way out.
EBW, remember when you guys won the titles, when EBW had just formed again, right? Think about, you guys have stood the test of time. EBW right now has become a fad almost. They're not at the strength they've been in. Okay, I mean, Venom is now, grooming somebody against Fletch. Okay, fine. But the facts is that EBW has struggled mightily these past several months. You guys have stood up against some of the best in the sport. Listen, the EBW rejects, remember what happened you did with those guys, Julian Boyd Jacobs and Mitchell Maverick? I mean, those guys couldn't even cut the mustard. I mean, those guys couldn't even been at the back of a buffet line and gotten into EBW if they wanted to.
They couldn't prove themselves to EBW by defeating us. So EBW decided to do it themselves. And what happened? They couldn't prove themselves either. They couldn't even prove to themselves. They had to doubt themselves. And yes, they may be starting to crumble and cracks are starting to develop and, they may be on their way out, but that's usually about the time when you really start to underestimate your opponent, and that gives them the advantage. Like they got plenty of tricks up their sleeve. Chris Jones is, an icon, a legend in this business.
Oh my God,
And
he's in our Hall of Fame. I mean, Chris Jones is one of the best who have ever done it.
He's teaching them. He keeps motivating them.
But you make a good point in a way. The essential Rob Slayers. We are speaking here with the reigning, defending XCW Tag Team Champions, the longest running tag team champions, as far as I know, of any company we cover on Sportswire Radio. That is essential Rob Slater and the first real wrestler, Mr. Justin Parsley. My name is the Reverend Tom Bryce, your voice of all wrestling, and also we broke the news here that the guys on April 8th are going into the Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame as a team collectively. Justin will become a three-time Sportswire Radio three-time Hall of Famer, that's like a three-time yet. 3 times overall, once in XCW, 2 in Sportswire Radio. And Rob Slater will become a 1-time Sportswire Radio Hall of Famer and a 1-time XCW Hall of Famer. But the guys are here with us now. But, you made those points. But Chris Jones, despite all of his advice, all of his knowledge, objectively speaking, I don't think EBW's had the success that prior incarnations have had. Isn't that fair for me to say?
I think that's right. I think that's right. First of all, let's get that out of the way. I think Chris Jones had an intelligent and a motivated trainer who set him off on the right path and already knows all the tricks that he's coming up with, because that guy's already done it all himself.
But it hasn't, we see this a lot in sports when a great player transitions to being a coach. And it doesn't always work out. I go back, Wayne Gretzky years ago coached the Arizona Coyotes. Didn't have a lot of success with them. You go back and Carlos Beltran, quote unquote, was supposed to manage the New York Mets. And there was a whole thing that happened there that, was outside of nobody's control. We see this time and time again in sports. Players who are great. Chris Jones is one of the greatest to ever have done it. The man's been doing it for 4 decades. But in this kind of maybe mentoring part-time role, he hasn't done it to what we would have thought. EBW should have all the titles right now, and they really don't. They have crumbs, to be fair. They have crumbs.
There was a point where they were getting all that gold, and I think they got too overconfident in themselves, thinking they were just going to run through XCW.
Well, I think ACT had backup against the wall. Brogan, O'Shea, you guys now. I think that guys have, stood up.
Maybe they have crumbs because they've been scrapping for the right team. You said it yourself. They keep trying to influence and recruit other people to come to EBW, and these are all probably their primary options. I don't want to say myself, but names that have rejected them along the way that they would like to have been
EBW rejected them months ago. Corey Lee rejected them. I remember that once upon a time. He rejected them.
They're trying to recruit people that have already established themselves and have all these accolades and have done great things, legends in the business, which I get it. I would too. But eventually, the people that are in the business, that are in EBW, they're going to find a way to make a name for themselves. Chris isn't going to be around forever.
They'll get EBW figured out. They'll get EBW figured out. Even if EBW never figures out these individuals, they will get EBW figured out. And it's not the foundation of XCW. That's here. Right?
I agree with you on all that. Let me get to a bunch of comments here before I move on to a few other things, and want to have one more special announcement on behalf of XCW. All wrestling matters, and these wrestlers put their bodies on the line to put on a great show. I could not agree with you more. Ethan, well said. What these guys do out there in the ring, it speaks volumes to the character of these individuals. And that's why we honor them on Sportswire Radio. That's why I always say, despite what some might say, so many people are in the Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame. Well, reality check. Sportswire Radio is the place where all wrestling matters. Sportswire Radio is the place that makes sure we honor and recognize and thank our wrestlers who go out there and do it really for the love of this sport. That's why we recognize them. And that's why, listen, in baseball, they have a Hall of Fame in Cooperstown. Basketball, it's in Springfield, Massachusetts. Hockey, it's in Toronto, Ontario. Football, it's in Canton, Ohio. But for all wrestling types, It's here on Sportswire Radio. I agree with you, Trinity, and I'm very proud that you're the first woman in the Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame. Hello to my buddy Nicholas Crenson. Nicholas, of course, is the former RCW World Underground Champion. James Cerebral. James Cerebral is a stunt double in Malibu's Most Wanted. Maybe he's from Brooklyn, New York, apparently, but I've never seen him in Brooklyn. As a Brooklyn guy, I've never seen him.
Do you stay G'd up? I think you have to stay G'd up in order to see him.
I've known a lot of G's in Brooklyn, though. I mean, I'm a pretty, know, I'm a pretty connected guy. I don't know why I've never seen him, but that's a different conversation for a different time. The foundation has earned my respect when they made the save. I'd welcome them back. I just hope they don't rig James my couch. The foundation are welcomed anytime, anywhere, and they are tremendous talents, but she loves them. We, the foundation, know who are the best in our business, and the real ones are one of the best. And Darkron, by the way, I want to give my thoughts and prayers continue with Darkron and Matthew Forsaken on the passing of their grandmother. I want to continue to have them in my thoughts and prayers. And the guys, I hope that people will, keep them in mind. And certainly their family is going through something. I know there's a service tomorrow, and I wish I could have been there. And I just want to say that I am praying for the guys and continue to. So please give your prayers out to Darkron and Matthew Forsaken. And also hello.
Yeah, my condolences for that too. I had no idea. So
yeah,
my
condolences.
Just
on Facebook. It was only on Facebook like last night or something like that. So it's not a big deal.
Gotcha.
Not a big deal. But that's why we say it here, because we care for all of our wrestlers, and we want people to, obviously keep them in our thoughts and prayers, because they're also in the Hall of Fame, by the way. So we, in Sportswire, we treat our Hall of Famers with dignity and respect. We make sure that you don't just get a token photo and you get put on the website. No, we actually go out there and we give you certificates. We honor you. We continue to, make sure that you're remembered. That's what it's about. Unlike those that may say hundreds of people in our Hall of Fame, but reality check, spoiler alert, on Sportswire, we actually make sure that you're recognized and certainly thanked for all that you've done. Just want to let you know that, because I know who you are, by the way. Rob and Justin, EBW has gold in their sights. Watch yourselves. You know what? They have their backs against the wall. Justin, we talked about this before. I am almost certain you are your kid's favorite wrestler.
Yeah.
Let me ask you something real quick before we move on to a few thoughts. Justin, what was it like refereeing Fletch and Michael Christian? I got to ask you that question.
I felt underutilized in that position, and only because everything went, so there wasn't much for me to do besides stay the hell out of the
way. Rob, would you ever go consider refereeing a match like that? You're as tall as a glass of water. I'd say probably not.
I don't know, like that. I don't think I could. Give the match, the proper justice it deserves if I was reffing that big of a match, that high stipulation. I wouldn't live up to the standards of repping. I would need the low profile match. Low profile.
Well, let me ask you this: was there pressure on you, Justin, at all in refereeing a match like that, where obviously it's Festus's final match and it's against his stepson? I mean, was there anything you thought of going into that at all?
Yeah, absolutely. Because I had no idea what to expect of it either. Like, I was watching it as a fan from inside the ring, but
it wasn't a bad match. I got to be honest. I've watched far worse matches on sports. As a man that watches literally all wrestling, I have to say I enjoyed the match. I can tell you that it was actually a lot better than I had expected. I didn't know what to expect because Festus, he's hasn't wrestled much lately, and Michael, we love Michael, and we didn't know what to expect, but it was really like pretty good match. I mean, for honestly, for what the moment was, I mean, I'd recommend people to check it out on the XCW All Access page on YouTube.
Yeah,
definitely.
And it was an honor just to be able to call Festus's last, to be able to be the referee in the referee's last match. Like, it's very poetic for me. So it was really cool.
Festus is one of the nicest people I've met in this sport. I've been doing this wrestling years. I've met people all over the world, and I think Festus is one of the nicest people that I've had a chance to meet. And it was nice to see him have a match with his stepson, and Michael, one of the nicest other people that I've had a chance to. And that was really cool. And I got to say, great job, everybody at XCW. Obviously, Fletch putting it out there, and everybody else that certainly was a part of that. And I just really want to commend everybody that, just it was really cool. Really nice special moment. That's what XCW is about. That's why we're the gold standard here in XCW. So I hope that people go out and check XCW on those platforms below. And watch, by the way, Encounters episode 11 main event, YouTube, XC Wrestling 1, because these guys literally just 2.5 hours ago wound up retaining their tag team championships. Sunglasses say on next time. Okay. I do have one more announcement.
Whenever I rep, he wants me to wear my sunglasses. He thinks that's part of my gimmick. Like,
well, you're from Mulholland Drive. You should have them. Listen, I have Oakleys myself as a man that actually has like one of the most expensive pair of Oakleys. Yes, that is true. You are from Mulholland Drive, so obviously you should be, considering that.
You're right. Yeah, I should have watched more of I should have studied more Nicholson tapes, I think is what it is. Because Nicholson never takes his sunglasses off. I could just take some notes there, right?
He doesn't even take them off when they still, I don't know if he still goes anymore, but when he was going to Laker games years ago.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Like
they never come off.
No, so I mean, there you go. But all right, before I have one more special announcement, I saved the best for last and the most emotional for last. Before I do that, do you guys have any final thoughts for James Cerebral and Brady Branson, and any final words that you might want to say to the Foundation, Omen and Soldier from the match that we just saw earlier this evening? Do you have any final thoughts for both guys and teams coming into current and obviously future for next week? Take over the world. You defend the titles one more time, and you continue your run, which, by the way, I've heard from a birdie is coming up on one of the longest runs in XCW history in terms of those tag team championships. Not too bad.
You were the birdie, weren't you? You were the birdie.
Nah, we got a lot of moles on Sportswire. It ain't you guys. I can promise you that much.
Could have been me. Could have been. You never know.
I think that, I want to say to Cerebral and Brady Branson, like, be prepared, because last time we weren't, and this time it's going to be face-to-face in the ring, disqualifications, countouts, all of that, all the normal rules that go with. So you're going to have to wrestle a match. You're going to have to out-wrestle us. And in that same breath, the Foundation couldn't the second time that they showed up. But we are super appreciative of that save, and we respect the hell out of those guys. And never, ever have we fought two tougher opponents. And that, again, does not take anything away from DJ, Jaden Tucker, anybody, Boyd, anyone that we have faced prior to. But that match had a totally different feel, totally different vibe. I mean, you could just see by the way it all played out. And so it was a hell of a run and a hell of a ride. And that's what Brady Branson and EBW and whoever else he picks to be his partner has to look forward to.
You want to say anything else, Rob? Anything you want to add, or maybe?
I mean, he pretty much summed it up.
All right. Well, you know what? I saved one more announcement before we sign off for the evening, and I think that this is the most important one that I have to date. And you guys, every time you've come on here, have spoke a lot about Benji and how important he's been, and how important he's been to your careers. And I was thinking, why don't we sort of, recognize everything he's done, not only for you guys, not only for XCW, but this sport. But next month, just officially about next month at midnight, next month, induct Benji into the Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame.
Wow.
Yeah.
That would be awesome. That's awesome, man. He would love that. Benji would absolutely be honored. So I appreciate you doing that for him.
Well, I think that he's meant so much to so many guys that have come on here. Fletch has talked a lot about him, Corey Lee, you guys, Chris Jones. A lot of people have talked about him, even guys, the younger talents here, DJ Wahlberg, getting to know him. Certainly Brogan O'Shea's been here, Blackheart. A lot of guys, even if they haven't known him, but who came on here, talked about the importance of him and what he meant. And I think here on Sportswire, just as we announced last night that Eric Mecca would go into our Hall of Fame and what he meant to Wisconsin backyard wrestling and what he had meant to WCE, it would almost be foolish not to recognize the impact of Benji and the impact of what he meant to Indiana Backyard Wrestling and not induct him or not recognize him into the Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame?
I'm sure he'd be honored. He'd be ecstatic and honored.
This would mean the world to him. I don't know if it doesn't mean, whatever to whoever, but to Benji, this would mean the world to him. Whether he was the first, the last, somewhere in between, man, it doesn't matter. Just to honor
me,
him.
it doesn't matter at this point. Listen, you're in the Hall of Fame. You're in the Hall of Fame. I mean, to me, you know what? You want to say there's hundreds of members in the Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame? I should say, you know what? Thank you very much for that. That tells you that people are being recognized and honored for what they've done in this sport. People are actually being remembered and not forgotten. Not just kind of on somebody's tape somewhere, and only a few people hold that memory and no one else does. And I think that there should be thousands of people, as a matter of fact, in the Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame. I hope that I induct 10,000 people in the Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame, because that's what it's about here, because everybody goes out there and puts their lives on the line. And I think that Benji, for what he meant to you guys and so many other people, not just in XCW, but throughout Indiana semi-pro, underground, and backyard wrestling, to me, he absolutely should be in the Sportswire Hall of Fame. As a matter of fact, he should be in more Hall of Fames out there. And I think that that's what we want to recognize him. And I think that we actually want to do it the same week that we induct the real ones into the Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame. Because I think the magnitude of that moment shouldn't just be for one day. I think it should be that week that we should honor the legacy of those that have been here before us and have built the foundation to what we have right now in All Wrestling Matters. So I think that week, Benji should go into the Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame. And it's one person's vote, kind of like that guy you used to be able to say with the initials VKM. It's one person's committee on Sportswire Radio. And guess what? You're looking at him. And I decide when he goes in, and I decide if there's 10,000 or a million or a billion people that go in the Hall of Fame, and he's going to go in the Hall of Fame that week. And if anybody in the locker room would like to be here for it, they're welcome. And you guys are welcome to speak about him. Just like Tim Mecca, when he gets into the Hall of Fame for WCE and the locker room there. And thank you, Nicholas Crenton, for correcting me. Yes, it's Tim Mecca. And if he wants to, certainly, for them, we'll let that moment. But I think that anybody from XCW on that day that knew Benji, and, Kurt Acid, that moment should happen. And I think that is going to happen that week, right after you guys get inducted as our first tag team.
It's an honor and a privilege for you to do that for my best friend, Tom. I appreciate you. God bless you, man.
That's what it's about. We, recognizing people that, deserve to be recognized. It's not about me. It's not about anybody else. It's about giving people a place that they can remember those that were here and laid, again, the foundations of where we are today. XCW is the gold standard because of people like Kurt Acid. And it's a damn shame that he's not here and I didn't get a chance to interview him. Just like when I inducted Mr. Carnage, Sean Duffy, into the Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame in CCW. I missed him literally by about a week. He died literally when I was covering CCW for 2 months. And I missed him literally by the skin of my teeth. To me, I look at Kurt Acid. I missed out on an opportunity to speak to a man that has done so much for our great sport. For these two men and so many other people that are in XCW, April 3rd, we could do it April 3rd. Yeah, April 3rd, you want to do it April 3rd? I'll do it April 3rd. If that, I believe that was that his birthday, April 3rd?
Benji's birthday, yeah.
Was that his birthday, April 3rd?
Yeah.
So we'll do it April 3rd. April 3rd, his birthday. Awesome. And anybody wants to come on, anyone wants to speak about it, you're welcome to. Michael, if you want to come on and talk about it, or you guys want to talk about it, I'll let anybody from XCW or elsewhere that knew him, the family, whoever it might be.
Michael, you have to share your Benji story. You have to share your Benji story on the podcast. Don't share it here yet because it's such a good Benji story.
Yeah, don't spoil it.
Don't spoil anything.
I have many Benji stories too.
Oh, we have so many Benji stories.
Well, I want to hear him. Well, you know what? I want to hear him because I don't know him. I know of him, but I don't know enough of him. So I want to hear his story. I want to hear his legacy. And I want the people of Sportswire Radio and the people that are a part of this great sport from these other feds and other promotions, I want them to hear about it.
Everybody from these different feds think that they're the best. They're the best. They're the best in terms of backyard wrestling, amateur wrestling. Benji is the Michael Jordan of
The psychology, just working out a match,
I want to hear about it.
Yeah.
I want to hear all about it because to me, we always talk about XCW, the gold standard of this sport. We always talk about the fact that XCW, it's endorsement to earn, not given here. And this man gave his life, figuratively and literally, to this sport. And I want to hear all of it. I want to hear all of it. April 3rd, 9 o'clock Eastern time. How does that sound?
Perfect.
Right up against Heshi's time slot. I'll guarantee I'm gonna crush Heshi Tishler on his time slot that night. I guarantee you,
We're gonna mop the floor with you, Heshi.
I'm gonna crush him I'm gonna crush him for sure on that moment. But no, we love Heshi. But April 3rd, 9 o'clock. I think that's where we're gonna be. Justin Parsley, I will give you the scoop of who I am. He will be here. Justin knows this, but Kurt had a hand in each of us and in Festus's last match. And this just got real. Yeah, it got real. Tonight was real on Sportswire. Tonight, a lot of things were real tonight on Sportswire.
It got real quick.
Some of it, if you know between the lines, some of it probably was blurred. But I think when it came to especially you guys, your run, I think also obviously, though, to end it before we sign off with certainly, Benji, Kurt Acid, that's to me, it got emotional and special. And also, James Taylor, I thought the guy was going to blow me up tonight. I thought he was going to literally give me anthrax dynamite, and he didn't that way. But for Trinity, she said she missed it. So, Trinity, I got some real news for you. Real news is that Kurt Acid goes into the Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame April 3rd, 9 o'clock Eastern time. And you're welcome to. Anybody from XCW, anybody that knew him, the family, whoever it might be, tell your friends, tell every Fed that watches on Sportswire Radio that you need to be here to honor this man and his legacy and everything that he's done for this great sport. Because XCW, we know it as it is today, would not be what it is if it wasn't for Kurt Acid. And Justin Parsley and Rob Slater probably wouldn't work in XCW if it wasn't for him. There you go. And last but not least, Omen Black says you're welcome for making the save, but this isn't over. So there you go. Omen Black comes back here, and Trinity says that she will share her story sometime. I don't know if it'll be April 3rd, but I would like her to hear the story because I want to hear it, and I think that people should hear a man that left us way too soon, a man that wasn't even in the prime of his life, and that's really, to me, the biggest travesty, just like Mr. Carnage, Sean Duffy, that, man left us at 44 years old with a kid and a wife that was near dying, and Kurt Acid left us way too soon. And we're going to honor him on his birthday, and I can't think of a better way to do that. And by putting him into the Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame, where he'll forever matter, a part of all wrestling and all wrestlers that will watch this platform. Congratulations. Nothing but respect. Hope to face both of you soon. I hear through the grapevine Forsaken and Kron have a match coming up at Rumble in the Yard, and I know you guys have a match next week, and we'll talk about that for sure very soon. We're going to have you guys on twice, as a matter of fact, April 3rd and April 8th. You guys are going in as a team, and then we're going to see you on April 3rd. So, I mean, you guys, maybe you guys should have the Sportswire as yours. Maybe I should just give you guys the microphone at this point. You guys are real ones. You guys are real ones. You guys are from Mulholland. You're from Mulholland Drive at least, and you guys still got the foundation of XCW and the foundation of this sport in tag teams, at least for now. So I mean, it'd be essential to have you guys maybe take over. But obviously,
it'd be a real honor. Yeah.
Saying a lot of reals a lot. And by the way, Real One shirt on. I got a Real One shirt. Go to the XCW store right there. XCW Wrestling 1, website, backspace, Shelbyville. All your information. Let's get to closing thoughts. Rob, I can't wait to formally induct you into the Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame. I look forward to also having you here for Kurt Acid, for Benji. I'd like to give you the floor and thank you for all you've done, and congratulations on the big win tonight, and anything else you want to say ahead of next Thursday. And floor is yours, my friend.
I appreciate it. Going to be looking forward to being inducted alongside, my partner, my best friend, since day one, like the Usos say, since day one. It's going to be a real honor, and I appreciate it. Thank you.
Sorry, it was funny. I know it was no pun intended.
You gotta get the real in there, man. Like,
I always tell people at this point, when I get canceled from this, I'm going to try a bad career at stand-up comedy. But that's here nor there. It's a funny joke. But Michael wants me to cater McDonald's. I'll tell you what, Michael, I'll think about it. How about that? I'll think about that. And hopefully, yes, and it is my mission, hopefully, to meet you guys. Though after some of the comments I said tonight, I hope I can still meet you guys. But that's an inside baseball joke. But that's here nor there. But obviously, Justin, I'm going to give you the floor. Then pull up your social media so people can go check that out. So anything else, my friend, you'd like to say? The floor is yours, and fire away.
Yeah, March 7th, 6 p.m. Is that what time we start? Probably 6 p.m. Eastern.
Yeah,
because the real ones.
Usual is at 6. Yeah.
The real ones against EBW representatives Brady Branson and James Cerebral.
Round 2.
Be sure to tune in. You don't want to miss it. You don't want to miss that ass whooping. And we're going to show you why we stand with pride for XC fucking W. That's you, Blackheart. That's for you. I'm sorry to cuss on your show.
No, it's okay. At this point, everybody does it on Sportswire at this point. I mean, people say it's amazing. I haven't done it in 5 years. Well, I say, I think I've done my own F-bombs in different ways. So, I mean, I think that we can certainly say it's all even. But, yes, explosive championship wrestling, the gold standard. And these guys arguably are the main event in it right now. And they're going to be in the ring against the team of Brady Branson and James Cerebral of EBW for those tag team championships, where they have held proudly now for nearly 6 months. It's been a real lively conversation tonight. You can follow Justin Parsley on all of those platforms. Parsley's simple as put. And also, when we're off the air, I will give you guys both that certificate so you both can have it. And then most importantly, we're going to see you guys in the Hall of Fame again on April 8th. And we're going to see you on April 3rd for, God rest his soul, Benji Kurt Acid. So a lot ahead. And Festus Davis on his birthday, inducted into the Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame next Sunday. Awesome. Who does birthday parties unlike Sportswire Radio? I mean, nobody recognizes people's birthdays like yours truly, by the way. I want to say that on the air right now. Off the record, Slater, tell JJ I said what's up, and Omen hopes he's doing good. Love JJ, by the way. Love JJ. Love JJ. Fellas, congratulations on the big win. It's been a real conversation. I had to throw in there one more time. And I'm looking forward to seeing you guys in a few weeks. And definitely you've proven why. Don't ever underestimate the heart of a champion. You guys have proven that time and time again. You will stand the test of time. And now you will officially take your place in the record books in the Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame by doing that on April 8th. So thank you, fellas. And Soldier DP says also, congratulations. So, fellas, congratulations. Ladies and gentlemen, there you have it. Our reigning defending XCW Tag Team Champions. The real ones. The essential Rob Slater, the man as tall as a glass of water, best RKO in the business, aside from the guy who does the RKO and created the move. And, of course, the man from Mulholland Drive. He is the man that is certainly has better moves than anybody else's Pez dispenser. He is our first real wrestler. His name is Mr. Justin Parsley. And I actually know a man who is the worldwide Pez collector, who is Mr. Dane Johnson. A man I'm supposed to go over his house and interview him again for a second time and see more of the Pez collection, but different place for a different time. But until then, Justin Parsley is on all platforms at Parsley's. Follow him. I promise you it'll be a real follow. And you'll also see his reels on my Instagram page very soon. So make sure you check them out and check out the match coming up with those guys next Thursday. And check out the match they just had at Encounters with Omen Black and Soldier GP. And the creator is Johnny Ace. Yes, and DDP sort of, I think, reformed the move as well, right? DDP kind of did that. And a deal's a deal, Parsley. And there you have it. Not done with more deals. Justin Parsley, Soldier GP, IMF World Title. I mean, somebody's lucky day. Depends on how you see it. But
you keep retaining that belt, Soldier. You just keep retaining that belt to hold up your end of the deal.
Could be Parsley 2 belt coming up here.
Could be Parsley 2 belts.
2 belts, 3-time Hall of Famer. I mean, at this point, Justin Parsley, I mean, you literally are on the Mount Rushmore of this sport. I mean, you literally are on Cloud 9, and Rob Slater, you are as tall as Cloud 9. So, I mean,
Thank you. Appreciate that.
I told you I'm working on stand-up comedy, but I don't know if I'm the dream maker, but I could be somebody's maker. But until then, if you're on sportswireradio.org, you're going back to your regular scheduled programming. If you're on YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter, I'll be back right after SmackDown tomorrow night, 10 o'clock. I'll give you post-SmackDown thoughts. I'll be back here Saturday with Mr. Judgment. Mr. Judgment is here live on Sportswire Radio. Of course, the DBW champion of the world, the Amplified World Champion. And I'll be back here Sunday to induct Skulls the Soul Hunter into the Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame. And then I'll call James Taylor versus Anthony Steele, the former XCW New Age champion. That's a name you haven't heard a while from XCW Galaxyland. But James Taylor and Anthony Steele and I will be on the play-by-play for that. You might want to tune into that one. But until then, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. On the number one global radio station that is Sportswire Radio, where all wrestling matters. And one more thing before we sign off. Anytime Justin Parsley is on social media or he's on XCW TV or on Sportswire TV, of all the people on XCW, Justin Parsley gets the most views. Just saying. Justin Parsley and Rob Slater get the most views. Just saying. So until then, everybody, all wrestling matters, and I'll see everybody right after SmackDown.